He tried to expose his ex as childless at his baby shower. Then her 4 kids stole the spotlight. But before I share my story, please take a minute of your precious time to support our channel. Your support and love keeps us going. The baby shower had all the makings of a fairy tale. Golden balloons floated near the ceiling, gospel jazz played softly in the background, and servers glided through the room with trays of sparkling cider and champagne flutes. At the front, Lamar Bryant, a man who loved the spotlight, clinked his glass for attention. Family and friends, he announced with a wide grin. There's someone very special I want y'all to meet tonight. The chatter died down. Heads turned toward the entrance. Lamar paused for effect, letting his smirk stretch. My former wife, Denise. Gasps rippled through the room. Everyone knew the story. Lamar had divorced Denise years ago, claiming she couldn't give him children. That wound still clung to her name like a shadow. But Denise did not walk in alone. Behind her came 4 toddlers in identical burgundy suits, each boy's grin carrying Lamar's unmistakable dimples. Say hello to your sons, Denise said evenly, her voice cutting through the stunned silence. The shock rattled the room. Guests whispered, cameras lifted, and Lamar's confident smirk froze into something else. Fear. What he thought would be a moment of triumph had just become the beginning of his downfall. A month earlier, in the heart of Cedar Heights, Ohio, Lamar had been drafting the guest list for the shower inside his corner office at Union Crest Capital, the Black-owned financial firm where he worked as a senior partner. His desk gleamed with polished mahogany, and the panoramic window offered a clear view of the downtown skyline. On the desk sat a silver-framed photo of his second wife, Naomi, glowing with pregnancy. She was 7 months along, carrying the daughter Lamar bragged about constantly. I'm adding Denise to the list, Lamar told his best friend and colleague, Reggie Porter, sipping coffee across from him. Reggie nearly choked. Denise? Your ex-wife? Lamar, that's crazy. Not crazy. Poetic, Lamar said, leaning back in his leather chair. She should see what a real family looks like. She couldn't give me that. Naomi did. Reggie shook his head. It's been 4 years since y'all split. You still need to humiliate her. But Lamar was already scribbling Denise's name in sharp pen strokes. He even wrote a personal note at the bottom of her invitation. Come see what a real family looks like. 2 states away, in Riverside, Illinois, Denise Walker opened her mailbox. Among the bills was a cream-colored envelope with Union Crest seal. She carried it inside her townhouse, her 4 boys giggling on the living room rug as they stacked blocks higher and higher. She recognized the handwriting instantly. Opening it, she read Naomi and Lamar's baby shower invitation. Then her eyes fell to the smug note at the bottom. Come see what a real family looks like. Denise did not tear it up. She did not cry. She glanced across the room at her sons, 4 identical little boys with his deep brown eyes and his same crooked grin. Julius, don't knock that tower over, she said gently. The boys looked up in unison, their faces echoes of the man who had abandoned her. Her best friend, Celeste Parker, arrived soon after with takeout boxes. Girl, what's this? She asked, spotting the invitation on the coffee table. Denise handed it to her. Celeste's eyes narrowed. He really wrote this? Lamar is still bitter after all these years. You're not actually going, are you? Oh, I'm going, Denise said, watching her boys. Lamar left me claiming I couldn't give him children. What he doesn't know is our final IVF cycle worked. 6 months after the divorce, I gave birth to quadruplets. Celeste's jaw dropped. And you never told him? Denise shook her head. Not after the way he trashed me to everyone we knew. He humiliated me. He called me defective. But now? Now it's time he meets his sons. In the days leading up to the shower, Denise moved like someone preparing for battle. She wasn't loud about it. She was precise. Every morning before work at the community health clinic, she lined up her boys in the kitchen, adjusting their uniforms, braiding hair neatly, making sure shoes shined. To them, she was just mommy. To her, they were living proof of resilience. One evening, Celeste found her at the kitchen table with the invitation spread out, a fresh notepad beside her. So, What's the plan? Celeste asked, sipping sweet tea. I'll bring the boys, Denise said, her voice steady. Not to make a scene, not to scream, just to show them. Let everyone see the truth with their own eyes. Celeste frowned. Naomi's 7 months pregnant. That poor woman has no idea what kind of storm Lamar invited into her house. You sure you want to do this in front of her? Denise hesitated. I didn't create this mess. Lamar did. Naomi deserves the truth too. If I keep hiding, I'm protecting a lie. Meanwhile, at Union Crest Capital, Lamar strutted through the halls as if nothing could touch him. His colleagues whispered about how he flaunted his perfect family, but he didn't care. The baby shower was his showpiece. Reggie, wait until you see it, he boasted one afternoon. Caterers from Detroit, champagne straight out of Napa, a guest list stacked with half the city's elite. Everybody gonna see what kind of man I am. Reggie sighed. Man, you keep poking at Denise, you gon' regret it. She don't look like the type who stays down forever. Lamar waved him off. Denise is finished. Always was. Watch how fast she fades when Naomi and me step on that stage. But late at night, lying beside Naomi in their loft overlooking the Cedar Heights skyline, Lamar sometimes woke up sweating. His wife's belly rose and fell beside him, a reminder of the daughter he prayed would cement his reputation. Still, in the quiet hours, the memory of Denise's tear-streaked face the day he signed those divorce papers crept back. He forced the thought away, but it never fully left. On the morning of the shower, Denise dressed her sons in matching burgundy suits with little gold pocket squares. She tied their laces, smoothed their hair, and kissed each forehead. Today, she told them softly, you get to meet your daddy. Celeste arrived to drive them. As they loaded into the van, Denise slipped the invitation back into her purse. Her heart thudded like a drum. You ready? Celeste asked, starting the engine. Denise gazed out the window, her boys' laughter filling the car. I've been ready since the day he called me broken. The ballroom at the Cedar Heights Cultural Center shimmered with gold tablecloths and ivory roses. Waiters carried trays of champagne flutes, and a gospel choir rehearsed softly in the corner. Naomi, radiant in a flowing emerald dress that framed her round belly, greeted guests with warm hugs. Lamar moved through the crowd like a politician, shaking hands, laughing too loud, slapping backs. Cameras flashed as he posed with Naomi. Our little princess on the way, he declared to anyone within earshot. By the time Denise and Celeste arrived, the party was in full swing. Heads turned immediately. Denise was unforgettable, her confidence sharpened by years of silence. At her side, four identical boys held her hands and clutched each other's sleeves, wide-eyed at the glittering chandeliers. Celeste whispered, "This is it. No turning back now." The room fell quieter as Lamar spotted them. His smile faltered. Naomi followed his gaze, her brow creasing at the sight of the woman walking confidently toward them. Family and friends, Lamar said quickly, snatching a microphone. Before we go any further, I want to welcome a surprise guest. His laugh was shaky, forced. My ex-wife, Denise. Polite claps scattered across the room. Guests leaned closer, eager for drama. Denise took the microphone from his hand. Her voice was calm, clear, steady. Lamar, she said, you once told me I was defective, that I could never give you children. You left me, humiliated me, and married someone else. Gasps echoed. Naomi's face drained of color. Lamar raised his hands, panicking. Denise, don't. She stepped aside and motioned to her boys. Four small figures shuffled forward, their suits catching the light. The crowd went silent. These are your sons, Denise said, her tone flat. Quadruplets. Born 6 months after you filed for divorce. The whispers erupted instantly. Phones lifted. Someone shouted. They got his whole face. Another muttered. Lamar, them kids look like carbon copies of you. Naomi staggered back against a table, clutching her belly. Is this true? She whispered to Lamar, her voice shaking. He stammered, sweat dripping down his temples. I didn't know. I didn't know. Denise's boys clung to her legs, their wide eyes darting between their mother and the man frozen on stage. Celeste's voice rang out from the back. "Guess you found out what a real family looks like, huh?" The crowd roared, half in laughter, half in shock. Lamar's carefully built image shattered like glass underfoot. The ballroom turned into a storm. Guests huddled in circles, whispering, some shaking their heads, others recording every second for proof. The gospel choir had gone silent, their voices swallowed by scandal. Naomi stood frozen near the cake table, one hand on her belly, the other gripping the edge for balance. Her cheeks glistened with tears. "You lied to me, Lamar," she whispered, but the microphone still picked up her trembling words. "You said Denise was barren. You made me believe she was the problem." Lamar reached for her hand, but Naomi yanked it back. "Don't touch me." One of the older guests, Mrs. Claudette from Naomi's church, shook her head and muttered loud enough for everyone to hear, "Lord, he let pride turn him into a fool." Denise stayed silent, her boys pressed against her legs. She didn't need to say more. The evidence was alive, breathing, staring at their father with curious brown eyes. Naomi's brother, Terence, marched forward, fury in his voice. "So this is who you really are? You dragged my sister into this sham of a marriage while you were hiding 4 kids on the side." "I didn't know," Lamar shouted, his voice cracking. He turned toward Denise desperately. "You never told me. You hid them." Denise's calm reply sliced through the noise. "I didn't hide them, Lamar. I protected them. From you. From your arrogance. You wanted a family for show. I wanted one for love." The crowd reacted with gasps and applause, some nodding in agreement. By the following week, the fallout spilled into every corner of Lamar's life. Union Crest Capital's board of directors called an emergency meeting. Investors were uneasy, wary of a man whose name had become gossip fodder across the Midwest. "Lamar, this scandal makes us look reckless," the chairman told him, sliding a newspaper across the table. The headline read, "Cedar Heights banker exposed at baby shower. Quadruplets shock community." Reggie, sitting at the far end, refused to look at him. "You either take a leave of absence," the chairman continued, "or we consider removing you outright. This firm is built on reputation. Right now, yours is poison." At home, Naomi packed her bags. Lamar begged, pleaded, swore he had been blindsided. But she shook her head. "You built our life on a lie," she said, "and I won't raise my daughter in the shadow of your ego." As she closed the door, Lamar felt the first true silence of his life, not the silence of peace, but the silence of loss. Weeks after the baby shower, Cedar Heights was still buzzing. At barbershops, beauty salons, and Sunday services, the story passed from mouth to mouth. Lamar Bryant, the man who paraded himself as a model of success, had been exposed by the very woman he tried to erase. Denise, meanwhile, returned to her steady life in Riverside. Each morning, she walked her boys to preschool, neighbors pausing to wave. Strangers she barely knew stopped her in the grocery store to whisper, "You handled that with grace." She never bragged. She never gloated. She just smiled softly, clutching her shopping bags a little tighter. Her boys, unaware of the storm they had helped reveal, grew in their own rhythm, laughing, scribbling on coloring books, demanding bedtime stories. They were her proof that endurance bore fruit. Celeste teased her one evening as they sat on the porch with sweet tea. "You realize you turned that man's empire upside down without raising your voice once?" Denise chuckled. "Sometimes the loudest revenge is the truth itself." Lamar, on the other hand, lived in the wreckage. Union Crest put him on indefinite leave. His face, once featured in glossy magazines as a symbol of black excellence, was now tied to scandal columns. Naomi officially filed for separation, moving in with her brother until the baby's birth. Reporters hounded him outside his condo. Old friends stopped returning his calls. And in quiet moments, when he scrolled through social media, he saw his downfall turned into memes. Photos of a shocked expression at the shower captioned with lines like, "When your past shows up with receipts." For the first time, Lamar sat in silence with no applause, no audience, no spotlight. Just regret. The story did not end with flames or vengeance, but with balance. Denise carried on with dignity, her boys thriving in the light of a mother who never wavered. Lamar, stripped of his illusions, was left with the truth he had once denied. Sometimes justice isn't a gavel or a jail cell. Sometimes it's simply being forced to face the reflection you've spent years avoiding. And in Cedar Heights, everyone remembered the day when a woman once called broken walked into a ballroom, for sons at her side, and proved to the world, and to herself, that she had never been broken at all. And that's how Denise turned years of humiliation into a moment of undeniable truth. She didn't need revenge in the traditional sense. She let honesty, dignity, and her children speak louder than any insult ever could. If this story inspired you, don't just scroll away. Tap that subscribe button so you never miss the next tale of resilience, justice, and empowerment. Share this video with a friend who needs a reminder that strength often speaks the quietest, and drop a comment below. What would you have done if you were in Denise's shoes? Your voice matters. Let's talk about it.